Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the 1944 S cent. Now, there's a lot of people wondering which are the ones that are selling for tens of thousands of dollars, and which are the ones that are worth maybe 1 or 2 or 3 cents just because they're really regular. There's also a lot of them in between, but that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Whether it's a mint error, it's a variety, it's a conditional rarity, or it's one of the ones with the prior year 1943 zinc and steel planchets that ends up getting struck with the 44S, that's what we're going to be discussing. So let's head on over to the presentation. I promise you'll learn a ton about this coin, how to treasure hunt it, and just everything that you'd want to know. So let's get right into my presentation. So let's jump into this 1944 S penny because there's a fair amount of them that are worth well beyond their normal prices. Now, I have a little bit of information on the general series here. Something interesting, Abe Lincoln was the first person on a circulating U.S. coin when they rolled this one out in 1909. There would be some controversy about the VDB initials for Victor David Brenner, but those would get removed and then be replaced onto his shoulder. But anyways, I'm going to focus on this specific coin for now. In terms of just pure conditional rarity, it's really not going to be worth certifying, I would say, unless you're doing it in bulk, and if it's not going to grade mint state 67, because it might grade lower than that, in which case you might be able to break even if you're lucky, but the real just pure condition premium would be 67 or 67 plus. There are over 280 million made, and it's pretty tough to find really great examples. Now, where you can do pretty well is with some of the varieties. Like this one doesn't maybe jump out to everybody, and it's good news that you are now being made aware of it, because especially on the LIB and the date in the 9 especially, it's extra thick. So this is the distended hub doubling class 6 type of double die, where not everybody picks up that it is, but the extra thickness is a really cool one to find. There are some other ones. This is a doubled, and it could be even more than doubled, but eye or eyelid, and this occurs on several of the different wheat cent dates. It's something to look for, and there's a lot of different ones. You know, it could be slightly under the eye, above it. Here it's more of a side-to-side shift, but there's not major value premiums, but it's just a really cool thing. Not that many people are aware of this, so you can look at already graded coins, and it's a fun one to recognize. Same thing here. This one's pretty worn, but it's also got that major extra thickness all through the date on the 9. Same thing in the 4s, how it sort of extends out as well to the right. Just way more thick than usual, and a fun coin to find. Again, there's no problem or downside to checking coins for this, so it's not like you can lose when you're looking for them. On the reverse, there's also some doubling. This one's a double die reverse. You can really see it in the dot and E pluribus. Same thing sort of in the top of the E and along the tops of the rest of pluribus. Has a slightly better valuation, $25 for mint state 65, as opposed to like a maybe $5 but really if it's raw, it's like $1 or $2. So that one's nice. And then this one has more clear separation, I would say, in the E pluribus, top of the E. Same thing in the tops of these letters all through. So that's pretty interesting. There's also, of course, the repunched mint marks where maybe it didn't take properly the first time. And there's several repunched mint marks beyond what I'm showing, but I'm just sort of reminding you that you should be looking at those mint marks. Here it's sort of a tilted one, or they're saying east, but you can see the split in the serifs on either end. There's also this one where it's more tilted again, and you can see a little bit sort of poking through at the, it's northwest repunch, but at the bottom. And then over here, really, I think this one's more spectacular, even though the valuation guide says it's lower. You see a nice split by those two serifs on either end. There's also going to be the big coin, which this one sold for $408,000, and this one's just in gorgeous condition, mint state 66, PCGS and CAC approved, but this is the zinc-coated steel planchet. So you have to remember the year before this, 1943, the United States had an experimental design where they decided to use the zinc-coated steel so that they could serve the copper for the military efforts of World War II, but some of the coins, of course, those planchets, made their way and got struck Maybe there were a few planchets left over in one of the bins that then gets dumped and all of those coins get struck. Either way, this one was taken out really early. Often you'll see these, but they've been damaged, or, people didn't really pay super close attention, so they just spent it around. And somebody said, hey, this shouldn't be being, it shouldn't be in 1944, it should be 1943. But this one, sort of since the beginning, was taken out. This one was $408,000. A lot of them are faked, but one of the key ways to do it is if it is magnetic, that would be a great, proponent. That would be something that would say it's real. The other thing is if it's 2.7 grams, that's the steel planchet weight, as opposed to 3.11, which is the copper planchet. But again, there's a lot of fakes, so you have to watch out for that. There's also some other errors that are just really fun. It's an aspect of collecting I really enjoy presenting about. This one would not have ejected properly from the striking chamber and received another strike that was off-center. Really attractive piece, $330. I think that was a good deal, but unfortunately it looks like there is a little bit of a damage to the reverse, so it graded Unk Details. The next one was simply struck off-center. So it wasn't struck twice, and the second strike was off center. It was just one strike that was missed. The planchet didn't fully enter the striking chamber. This sold for $155. Lastly, there's what's known as a cud die break right here. Basically, when you strike a bunch of coins, sometimes the dies that are used to impress the coins, those will wear down, and that's what happened in this case. Some of it fell off. Often it's more towards the bottom of the coins where the die breaks occur. This sort of corresponds with that. It sold for $85 in a recent auction. That's going to bring us to the end of this video. There's just a bunch of different cool things, whether it's the big, the kahuna of being a zinc-coated steel planchet of the wrong date, or it's like a mint error, or there's all these different varieties to search for. So much to learn on this coin. Really enjoyed presenting it, and hopefully you can find one, whether it's a small one or another major numismatic find that will certainly make some news headlines. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like the video, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other social media platforms. You can also go to my main channel website, treasuretownYT.com, to learn more about the channel and sort of stay in contact. I also will eventually host all of these videos on coinsmetalscards.com, which will be both news, marketplace, and coin information. I do have the goal of eventually getting pretty much every US coin, date, mint mark, denomination on the channel with a similar video to the one that you just watched, and that will likely all be hosted there. And then I also have treasuretowncoins.com, which is sort of my coin dealing wing, coin dealing only entity that is a little bit less focused on content production. So thank you so much, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos. I also have videos that are not just the date, mint mark, denomination recap in this format, so you can check some of those out, and I'll have fun seeing you there.